Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Let's Talk channel. We're here. This is Quentin. I'm Valerie Lorraine, and we are here to have a great time tonight. This is serious shenanigans. We're going to have some serious discussions. We're going to mix it up with some goofy stuff too. Have some fun. How you doing tonight, Quentin?
I'm all right. What's going on? How's everything?
It's pretty good. Got a lot done today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How's the weather? I'm having little
So
issues right now with my
yeah, I
weather.
know, right? Mother Nature is like, I think she's an angry drunk. We're not moving into spring like I'd like to. It's kind of still rainy.
Yeah, I was a little going through it with the weather. We had beautiful weather for 5 straight days, and now we are that with 50, 53 degrees, windy, wet, rainy, and it has definitely changed the moods around here.
Well, welcome to winters where I live. That's exactly what it's like.
So tell me
Oh.
what you got planned for tonight.
So I'm super excited because I am spending the evening talking with Mr. Witz, the poet.
Hmm.
He is a slam winner. He has multiple books out. He is a host. He is just a fantastic person. He's a member of the Ain't Right tribe, um, and he's there's other qualifications under his name as well, but really an enjoyable guy. Um, it's going to be a great evening.
Great. Well, without further ado, let your show begin.
I can't hear you. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I still can't hear you.
We can't hear you, Val. Log out and come right back in, Val.
Okay. Am I coming in clear?
No. You good, Mister Wiz.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, Val, we can't hear you. You hosted a show, and we can't hear you, Val.
We're gonna need the lip readers.
All right,
Bring out the lip readers. I'm gonna share the room a little bit.
Val, go out and come back in.
Share the room a little bit while we wait on her.
Yeah, I'm with you. Hopefully, she'll be right back.
Yes,
So,
sir.
yeah, Mister Wiz, let me know where you from, brother. Where you originally
Well, I'm
from?
from Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn, East New York. Right now, I'm residing in Charlotte, North Carolina. Honestly, we've been gracious. Charlotte's been very gracious to us. We've actually launched our career out here as a poet, as poets. Um, so yeah, Charlotte's been real gracious to me.
Valerie, we still can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Oh, now we
So there
can.
you go. We got you now.
I can hear everybody. I didn't realize it was me though. I can hear myself quite fine, thank you.
Yeah, I will hope so.
Right? Okay, so
Imagine yourself standing in front of a mirror trying to lip read.
I know, right? That would be something funny. I gotta say, like, and I think I've sent you some of these videos, Mr. Witz, the NFL bad lip sync lip reading.
Oh wow, yeah, it's just terrible,
Those
hilarious.
are hilarious,
They're terrible. They're terrible.
right?
Oh goodness.
So, you got to introduce yourself while I was muted, while I was mute.
Yeah. Well, I kind of mentioned where I'm from. That
Okay,
was, you know,
keep going.
um.
I want to hear all
Yeah,
about you tonight. Tonight is about you.
thank you so much. I'm honored to be on this platform. So thank you for this space. For those who don't know me, I am Mr. Witz, the poet. Um, I'm from East New York, Brooklyn. I'm now residing here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I am one half of Granny's Boys, which is the poetry collective of me and my brother, Coach Josh Smalls, and we launched Granny Boys as a poetry entity here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So again, I mentioned earlier that Charlotte has been gracious to us because this has been our launching pad. Um, Amazingly, I am now an eight-time published author. Uh, I have six solo projects. Then I'm in a joint collective with my brother, um, which is a dedication that we did for the military veterans. So that was a special book to put together. And most recently, I've been in group anthology, um, American Graveyards, which is a conglomerate of, I believe, like 47 poets, and everybody's expression, the way they feel and how it has affected them in their life. The anthology is about gun violence. Excuse me, and yeah, that's a special book. So that was book number 8 that I was blessed to be a part of.
And so I have a couple things to say. A great book with a great theme for the anthology. You know, a lot of touching poetry. I can't wait to get my hands on that. I'm going to get you a signed copy there, Mr. Witz, heads up. But,
Yeah,
you know, really tough issue. And I know I saw the interview. I heard you share your piece and with Prada, who put out the book. And she was saying how tough it was when she was editing and reading those pieces. Very emotional.
yeah,
So,
yeah. That whole book, you have to find. It's hard to not find relativity in it because, I mean, what are we? We're 4 months into this year, and we're almost at we're coming up quick on 200 reported um, shootings, gun violent incidents, and this has not been like simple shootings. I'm talking about mass
yeah.
shootings. So yeah, gun violence is a major issue across the globe, but definitely here in America.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely, but I don't want to make that my main focus because I want to speak about like your books. So, I mean, you're a fantastic poet, which we're going to get into in a little bit, but and then you have the collective with Jaw, who
Yes,
I mean, amazing. You've got your brother, and he's into poetry as well. Two intensely um, talented wordsmiths when it comes to poetry, you
thank you,
know,
Frank.
really fantastic. I love that you guys, you know, you show up all kinds of places together on lives and in the community. And it's phenomenal. It's really great to see.
Yeah, it's definitely been a journey, a pleasant one, I can say. It's not always easy marketing yourself or establishing yourself, period, as an artist. Um, when there's so much genius in this world, right?
Hmm.
Everything tends to be some sort of competitiveness in order to get the attention that's deserving. But me and my brother, we came together here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and decided to um, opened the doors to our first venue, which was Say Word. It's a poetry open mic, and um, we've been moving collectively as a unit ever since.
Nice. That's
I think
great.
we're coming up on our 8th year anniversary.
Okay. Wow. That's some great success there. 8 years.
Yeah, it's been beautiful. It's been a journey.
So when did Mr. Witts, the poet, establish himself as a writer?
Um, well, again, I kind of launch pad out here in Charlotte. Um, I was always some sort of creative. I'll say that. I was always expressing myself through words, and I think I took things a little bit more serious once I moved out here, and it did begin with the hip hop, in the rap culture. So, I'll coming up in East New York, Brooklyn, when I this was like what 93, into 93, early 94. I had just come home from job corps, and when I came home, it was like a whole new world. I was only gone for about 6 months, almost 7 months before they kicked me out. And but when I came home, to see everyone in the neighborhood was a rapper, that blew my mind. Like this is when battle rap was really on another level. Like you couldn't walk outside your house without being addressed um, by somebody that just knew you had bars or felt threatened by your skills, and they say, "Well, you're gonna have to show and prove today." So yeah, that was pretty much the environment when I came home. So at that time, I've never written a rhyme in my life, uh, but to come home and see everybody doing that, you have to jump in. So I wasn't about to stand there and play the wall. So I got in. I went home that night when I seen my first rap battle in person in the park. Blew my mind to see two people actually go head to head like that, and great energy, and then be able to leave with the embrace. Everybody gets home safely. You know what I'm saying? But the love was there. The competitiveness was strong, but the genuity and the love was felt. So yeah, I went home and I got into my lab. I just pull out my pad and I start writing. Um, this is a funny story because the very first rhyme that I wrote, I told to my brother, Coach Josh Smalls. You know, it's not by accident that we partnered up. You know what I'm saying? It was ordained for us, and yeah, he was the first one, the very first one to hear me actually rhyme, and he told me I had something. So with that energy, I kept driving. I kept striving for it. Um, yeah, but hip hop kind of grew, and it kind of got bottled up into an age group.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The message is trapped in the youth.
Hmm.
So as you get older, you kind of age out of hip hop, which is crazy. You never think there's no genre that you can age out of. Jazz, reggae,
Right.
R&B. There's no age group that surrounds those. But the concept of hip hop and rap was to keep the mind. It wasn't originally dressed this way, but the behavior of it, of what the culture became, it became a docile mind. You know what I'm saying? The message became trapped in drugs, violence,
Hmm.
and sex. You
Right.
know, yeah, it got away from the conscious thought, the opening mind, and the creativeness to just explore your creativity. You know, with that being said, it wasn't welcoming to me. So I
Right.
transitioned um, from hip hop to a poet, to poetry. And I think that might have been the best thing I've done because it allowed me to be all of me, feel every emotion that was necessary when I put my words together.
And your works, like, we're gonna get there in a second. I want to ask another question or two before we get there, because um, pardon me, we're not leaving without hearing some of this fantastic poetry. So, I mean, tell me about you growing up, because like the Mr. Woods that I know is here and now,
Right,
right?
right.
But I know from your work and from some of the things that I know that like you've experienced quite a bit to bring you to here. And I know that as we age, we evolve and change and our directions change. So I want to hear, like, you know, who were you back then?
A lot of times I ask myself that same question because I know when I was young, I was a young man searching for himself. I can honestly say I was lost as a teenager because I didn't know what I wanted to do in my future. And to be completely honest, there weren't many business opportunities in front of me. You know, coming up in East New York, Brooklyn, um, there was always drugs, there was always violence, but there was a lot of love in the community. The community truly took care of itself. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knew everybody. Um, you know when there's a stranger amongst you, you know, and even then it can be an embrace. So it um wasn't devastating growing up, but it still was detrimental to becoming who I have become, because of the influences that were around me. Uh, yeah.
Well, I think that the Mr. Wits that we all know, that you've allowed us to see, right? Um, you are very welcoming. You are very generous with your time, and you're very thoughtful, and you're spiritual. You know, you have that, those things make you an incredible host when you're on, and people really respond to you. So, when did that transition take place for you? When did you, like, I mean, we all mature and we come to some different thoughts, but like, what is there something where you can say, like, this happened in my life and I changed this way? Or was this always you?
I can't say this was always me. I went through a lot of rough patches. When I was 8, I fell on my head in the school playground playing boys chase the girls. So chasing behind these females, um, and I tried to jump down on them. Somebody took my feet from underneath me at the time, and I came down on my head. So I had amnesia when I was young, at that young age, right? So that was frightening, period, because I don't know the whole experience of not knowing who I was and the behavior, but I got the stories, right? You know, but I do know not everybody comes back 100%
Hmm.
from such injuries, like you can lose feeling in your body and all type of stuff, right? So I was blessed to not have that happen to me. But yet there still was a cause and effect in that change. And it took me to get older to analyze things to realize the cause and effect, right? But I went from there, and I might who knows how sweet of a kid I was. Only my parents can really say, right? But through my teenage years, I know my aggression built up.
Hmm.
Um, I started to drink. I was a heavy drinker in my teenage years. I actually used to drink. I used to outdrink some of my elders. Um, so I went from that to to somewhat being a criminal.
Mm.
Okay, I can admit these things because I've grown past them. But when I was young, and again, like I said, I didn't have these opportunities in front of me. So we get it the best way we know how. You know,
Yep.
and for me, um, I wasn't a drug dealer per se. I didn't know nobody selling drugs. I didn't have nobody giving me drugs. But I was a very, very physical person, very hands on. So when I was young, I robbed people.
Mm.
Um, I never did anything to any women. I never did anything to any children. But I have robbed some adult men and teenage men, and just to have things. Surprisingly, I robbed somebody to bring food home. It wasn't like I was, um, making a habit out of just being a savage or animal. I was trying to do these things to tend to the need. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That was
Survival.
missing to fill those voids. So yeah, that's something that I went through that I'm not proud of. But as my life continued on, I realized going down that route, I was on the path of destruction.
Right.
I was on the path to suicide.
Mm.
Um, I was one of those people that I wasn't a weapon carrier. I didn't have guns and stuff like that. I robbed people with my bare hands, physical
Mm.
hands. Um, and I'm not proud of that. I'm not saying that to say this is something to hold to any kind of stature, but this is how lost I was as a kid. Okay.
Right.
So I transitioned from that. Um, a couple of my friends seen the path that I was on and was like, man, you can't keep living like that. But, you're going to end up dead somewhere. So,
Right.
I went into the streets a little bit more. But to come out of all of that to start thinking wisely as I do today, um, it really was the influences around me. Like the people around me started to, you're too smart to move in the way that you are. So let me give you something to read, right? So now, coming up in my house, my mom always kept a message to the black man book laying anywhere for us to read and get the knowledge that we need to conduct ourselves or to, channel our thought process as young men. But when I got that New World Order book, and this was what, like 95, 96, um, 96, I think, when I got my hands on it. But the New World Order book, it allowed me to connect with what the government was doing to how we were um, content to our lifestyles in our neighborhoods. So it kind of made some of those connections for me
Right.
um, to make me start thinking more strategically.
Okay.
Yeah, and in that thought process, it only allowed me to continue to want to grow my thought process to be, as brilliant as I can be. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. So I became a information buff. I really started digging and searching, and I want to know the truth. That's the thing about the truth. Once you get a hint of it, oh, you want the whole pill.
Right.
Yeah, you want the whole plate. Give me everything. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. I think that knowledge really births a thirst within us.
Yes.
There's just never enough, as you say. The well could never run dry for those of us who are looking for whatever the answers are. And it's a beautiful thing, really, though. Um,
Excuse me, I'm still here. I gotta turn my camera off for a minute, but I hear you, and I'm
okay. Yeah,
respecting.
absolutely. Pardon me. While Mr. Witz is doing that, I am going to take a brief moment to let everybody know Welcome to Let's Talk. I'm Valerie Lorraine, your host. Our producer tonight is Quentin Ford. We are hosting Mr. Wits tonight, getting to know him better. And this show is called Serious Shenanigans. We would like it if you would come back again. So we have more show tonight, but if you like and subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell, you'll get notified of this show and all the other shows that are hosted on this channel. We have Mr. Wits with us. He's just doing something there. He's back. That was perfect timing. It's a little commercial break. So with that, once you get yourself all settled there, I'm going to ask you if you are ready, if you could share a piece with us.
I'm sorry, I thought I was
There we go. I was going to say like, oh no, I was like, oh no, now his mic's not working.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Be honored to share a piece. Hmm. I tend to write about um reality. I really live there. Um, I speak a lot about social injustice because um, who's going to scream for these voices that have been quieted, that have been slighted from existence, right? Who's going to voice for them? So I've I've chosen um, to be the pen, the voice of the people, and I hope I do a good service. Um, this piece I'm going to do is a reenactment of the social injustice of Yusuf Hawkins. All right.
Dr. Hawkins, sir.
Funny how love lost of a young lady could make you want to change your batting average, make an athlete out of you, when all you know is win. But an L can push you. Amazing the influence a person can have over their peers. Type of persuasion that could incite a riot. One that could leadership a pep talk that can literally result in a blowout. You don't have to play a sport to be victim of a slaughter. You can blindly walk into your own end game. You can see how and why they chose sporting goods, diamond equipment. Killing innocent black men has always been the official American pastime. They say the attack was 10 to 30 suspected young Italian men, enough to compete and fill the bench. 7 or more, ironically, wielding baseball bats, while the pitcher had an arm, a firearm to strike out the first black male to step up to the plate, meaning their neighborhood, the field of their dreams, the home run by them. The train station just blocks away when daylight dug out their image from in the distance. All this because a girl chose to Negro League game her way out of a proposed relationship, claiming one for herself, her own Jackie Robinson, one who would have her heart, as if a team captain of this caliber would allow for a stolen base. He wasn't about to drop the ball on this one. 2, 3, 4, apparently out of their league because their jerseys didn't match, meaning their skin complexion was too melanated to be from round here. So it must be them, the opposing team, the rivals that they was waiting for. And I figured to listen a little more deeply to the analogy of murder with baseball, but a brawl broke out. Bats were swung as if they didn't already have the numbers, the aggression, the home field advantage over their unexpected victims. With every attempt to beat the pants off their opponents, the seventh inning stretch of bats swung at them, a lopsided display of fists pop up as if that wasn't enough to declare victory. The pitcher drew a gun, his loaded firearm, and fired from the mound like a score to settle, hitting dead center the chest of his target like a bat catcher's mitt, as if he had trained for this his whole entire life. The final strikes, one that will pierce directly into a heart. Game over. A 16-year-old black teenager was shot and killed after he and his friends were attacked by a mob of Italian men fisting baseball bats. One with the pistol, the ringleader actually, who deliberately took away his life at a press conference. The homicide victim's father had this to say: "He died because of what I did. I'm the one that gave him his color. He died because he was black." Some of the darkest words to be heard from a man in reference to a son. Darker than his complexion, blacker than the clothes of his eyelids even. I could still hear his heart trip. I could still hear his heart. I could hear his heart tear into shreds of confetti with each syllable he spoke, knowing he'll never hear his son's voice again, other than a mind trick inside his head. I could still see his melanated fist banging air, his stomach full of there should be more time on the table. I'm sure he could have said a packed rat mouthful of undigested hate and choked up blame, yet he regurgitated his soul out onto the floor, rose up his son in the bear of his cross, sacrificed himself to a heathen judgment in the claim of the life of his teenage boy. No father should ever have to bury his son. It's like watching you put yourself into the ground. You don't know death till you lose the fruit of your loins. He died because of what I did, he said. I'm the one that gave him his color, his spark, his demeanor, the sensation on the eye he reflects that emits his light from inside. He died because I put my armor off on him. I knew that there would be wardrobe issues, many of which I faced myself inside tailored eyes who denied their envy. I expected him to do his time as a man, eventually married, raising my grands, in bed with his plans, a successful black man. I never nightmared it to be a death sentence. Knowing the imprisonment would be a life sentence, I trapped him inside the cells of his skin and he died because of what I did.
Whoosh. Whew. Need a minute. Um, you know, this is what I love about your poetry. It is, of course, it's entertaining, but it is so emotional. It is so effective of the message that you are trying to get out to people. And I think it's also got an educational component to it. You know, things that maybe people forgot about or never knew about or didn't come to realize the significance of it at the time. Maybe they were too young,
Yeah.
you know, or you know, maybe like myself or like some other people who I know are in the room. Maybe they're from a different country,
Different reasons. Yeah.
different
You know,
place where they're not up on all of the news on this. So, you know, and you know what comes to mind too is you have a piece that I recall from some time ago, and it's completely educational in the fact, like you were talking about the chair being made out of the hair of the slaves.
Oh yes. That's in my fifth book.
Mm.
Yeah, that's in my fifth book, Two Generations from Slavery, Volume
Yes,
2. Um, yeah,
exactly.
Cotton Hair of a Flowered Chair. Another true story. And I tell these stories as hard as they are, and I try to make them palatable so that they can be digested by the receivers. Um, because who's going to tell them, right? Who's going to voice for these people? It's like you said, when you're in a whole nother region, you don't hear about Michael, you don't hear about Kevin, you don't hear about these people who are right there dying every day. You hear about what's around you, but again, we're we have less days counted this month. I mean, this year than we have actual shootings.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
and that's just ridiculous. How does that work? How do we coexist like that? How do we grow as a people like that? So yeah, telling these stories are hard, but that one hit me because I was when he was 16, I was 14.
mm,
So
yes,
that's how close in age it was. Like this is a 16-year-old man, boy. Let's not even call him a man because they're deceiving us by telling us that we're men and ladies at 18.
right,
18, you still don't have the adult mind to make the just decision. That's why it's so influential, and that's why they want you out of your parents' handling at that time, because then we can influence you to be um you know, to be lost pretty much to
pretty much.
who you are. Yeah, so telling these stories is hard. But I do my best to make sure that I put them out and put that truth out there. Like people need to hear the truth. The truth been buried for too long. You know, they want to surface the truth when there's no defense against.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I mean, I know from my experience from some of the poetry that I write in support of domestic violence, I know how hard that can be for me to bring forward sometimes. So I can well imagine, um, you know, bring the emotion and the energy expended when you bring those pieces. But I'm incredibly happy that you do that because I think that it's phenomenal. And I have always said that, if you can entertain people first, then you have their attention. And once you have their attention, then you can put your education piece in there, get your message out.
Yeah.
And once they're entertained and they hear that, then they're going to be more open to make a decision about their advocacy. So, I commend you because you've hit it all and you have people's ear. So, and it's not just your poetry, it is you as a person as well.
Thank you so much, Val, for saying that. I was a shy kid. Um, when I got into my teenage years, I started to come out of my shell. But I was a shy kid. I was very observant. I paid a lot of attention. Like, you can't speak on something that you have no knowledge of. So the fool is the one who's running off. Um, I did a lot of observing. I did a lot of watching, a lot of listening, and it saved me. It saved me from myself.
Mm,
Not from anyone else. It saved me from myself. Because again, I'm not afraid to admit, um, in my teenage years, I was lost. I didn't know what I wanted out of life.
right.
Uh, I went to Job Corps. I messed up with them. They kicked me out, sent me home. Um, I didn't know where to go. I didn't have job opportunities in front of my face. I wasn't going to go pack no bags for nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, you know, I couldn't see myself um, being that humble at that age. I had too much built up on me. I had so much aggression that I didn't realize was formulating, and it was because I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with um, the way things was. You want more, especially when you don't have much, and then you see other people with it. You know, you see other people with jewelry, you know, new clothes, new sneakers, and a lot of those things. I came up in a big family. I got 7 siblings. I have 7 siblings. So you see me and Coach Josh Smalls moving all the time because we are Granny Boy's poetry entity. But Granny Boy is really 6 brothers,
Oh, wow.
6 of us. And then we have 2 sisters.
Wow. And you guys are all involved in the
But
poetry?
everybody's doing something. No, I won't say that. Me and
Okay.
Coach are the two that are heavily involved in poetry. I have one that's heavily into hip hop. He's been brushing shoulders with a lot of rappers, Jada Kids, The Logs, Slick Rick,
Oh, wow.
just a lot of people. He's really, really in the mix right now. So I'm wishing him the best. That's my brother Benny Bermuda. So check him out. I have another brother that's here in Charlotte as well that has his own basketball league. So every summer um he runs this basketball tournament, which is super amazing. I mean, they give out rings to the champions and everything.
Nice.
He's the first um he's the first league that I will say that's like just an urban league that I've seen giving out rings. Everybody give out trophies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you win, you get a trophy, you might get an MVP, you might get team trophies, but he literally gives the championship team, they walk away with rings. So yeah, I'm proud of him
Yeah.
and and he's the baby boy. He's the youngest of the brothers.
Wow.
So, he got the opportunity to sit back and
Yeah.
take in everything that was being done ahead of him. So yeah, he moved wisely, and I'm proud of him. Um, I have another brother that's both of my other 2 brothers, they both do hip hop too, but the one that I just mentioned with the basketball league, he does clothing as well.
Okay.
All right, he do the jerseys for all the teams, and then he got his own clothing line, So True clothing line. So he does that as well. Um,
Which is a perfect segue because you have a clothing line.
yes, well, I have several. I
Yes.
have yeah, I have several clothing lines. It started off with Granny Boys clothing. Um, but I have Transit, Subway, Iron Horse. I have Who Naked up in here.
Mm.
I have honestly, I'm probably working on 9 to 10 different clothing lines. So I do everything myself. I make the designs, I make the clothing, and I package them and I sell them. So there's nobody really aiding me in this on that part of the journey. Not saying that I can't use the help, but I've been really, really fighting to be self-sustained.
Wow. Incredible. Incredible. That's the one thing that I love about this show. As you know, it is new. This is the second episode, but I love being able to spend this time with the guests and get to like really know them because as you know, the kind of hosting that we do, not that we want to rush people through, but we have to watch the queue and who's next and make sure like, if you have a big queue, then you kind of do have to push people a little bit.
Yeah,
So you're trying to get as many people through. So you don't really get any kind of in-depth conversation with them, even if you do have a little extra time, you still don't get into the depth of it.
Yeah,
So that's the one thing I'm really enjoying about this show, and then to end it with the shenanigans. But
yeah.
um,
I love it. I love it.
I know, right? So you know what? I'm just like so in awe of everything that you take on, and you also have journals, right?
Yeah,
So
I
collectively
do have
with another group,
gotta think 40 writing journals.
that's
So
incredible.
yeah, it's 40 different writing journals that range from um personal diaries to writing haikus to writing storyboard to I have journals for autism for
Okay.
you might want to keep a log of behavior so that you know um how to treat someone with these difficulties because
Mm,
it's not easy. And I know as human beings, we get frustrated with the things that we can't change and fix. So it takes a lot of patience. So I designed that book with that in mind, hoping that, the things that you jot down in those days can either be happy memories or they can be habit forming for change
yes.
to bring happy
Uh,
about, right? Um, I have breast cancer awareness journals. Um, yeah, it's just different things that's important. And I think if we pay attention to it a bit more, then then we won't be victimized so much. You know,
Very true.
a lot of times we do it to ourselves.
Yeah,
You
you
know?
know the very first part of change, as you know, is becoming aware,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So reflection and why does this happen, and I mean, you can't change a behavior that you're not fully aware of.
right, right,
So so
and that's
I
the
love
biggest
that
thing.
idea, being able to journal through it and just say like, this is what I'm seeing. Oh, okay, there's a repeated behavior here. I love
Right.
that.
Yes,
Fantastic.
thank you.
And
So
I just want to, before we go any further, I've been watching all the comments and people who have been coming through to support this show, but definitely Mr. Witt's here. So I've seen Denise, I've seen Justar, I've seen Rainier, I've seen a few other people in the room. So thank you so much for coming through. It means the world to
you
all of
will,
us.
yes,
Yeah. Okay, so I want to get you to give us another piece, and then we're going to chat a bit more, and then I'm
okay,
going to get you another piece, and then we're going to do some shenanigans. We're
okay,
going to get
awesome.
we're going to have some fun before we say our goodbyes.
I'll do this piece because you requested it. This is the cotton hair of a flower chair.
Okay,
This is the
okay.
name of the piece. There was an image of a 200-year-old slave master's chair sent out to be refurbished, and the refurbisher found that the chair was so well structured that the wood would last forever. But when he looked underneath the cotton of the seat, he found what he could never in life expect to see: the collective portion of human hair padding the cotton that would disguise it. Ever notice how flowers ball up in their naked, as if covering themselves to hide the bare, the sanction, the secret, the privacy of their reproductive organs, the natural way in which they disperse their seeds, their soft than velvet, gentle leaves that should always be their opening up, not their fold in a ball, but a prick can come about, pluck of cotton, snatching them from the stem of their source, taking them to become the resting place for some unworthy purpose, standing from the porch, glancing over the field can make a pale man thirsty, and the sun never quite shine on Caucasian skin like it does on the flesh of a melanated people. How many drinks you think of melatonin it take to get quenched one slave owning day at a time? How many exposed statues necessary to satisfy a man made out of his own picket fence? Imagine keeping count of the flowers you plucked, every garden sodomized by the collected hair, weighing it up by the bale of cotton to make perfect of your special design. Nothing like a comfortable place for you to sit after a long day's working master's plantation. After a day of slaving the shit out of the bodies you own like property bought and paid, those made to lay, take of your face you sweat, the pure cellulose of the melanin fiber, naturally fluffed like cotton flowers, black roses bed in your cotton picking fields, make you want to take it, find play in it, must make you want to lay it underneath your feet. How much you take a blacks enslaved to sufficiently create a window seat, your squatting spot, a chair to rock in, mocking their stock in bales of cotton, matched by hair you snatched from bodies you violated over and over again. What made you take our hair for souvenir? Shaving must have been stealing panties back then. The fact that you found it to be your rights flagellate from where your morals sit. Nothing like a seat brand by the sweat. The flowers you call to be sent from the field to service you front to back like your very recline in your slave master position. Nothing like a chair there in the big house, made out of deflowered plucks from the field, a time so remarkably perfect in your life that you will want to forever memorabilia, and you made us trophy, keepsakes, memento, ass, back, neck, your leg and feet pillows. Crazy how you relic the locks of our wool for furniture of your violent past. Something you pride enough to museum, yet purposely keep unspokenly willed, just like cotton, just like flowers, black roses, harvested in slave masters' plantation.
I think the biggest takeaway for me for that piece was how I've never forgotten that piece. I mean, of course, not every single word of it, but the I remember a few of the standout lines, and I remember the whole gist of the piece. And I think I probably heard that. I mean, I'm gonna say it's probably approaching a year and a half ago at least.
It's been a while. I haven't said it in so long. So when you brought it up, it touched me. Like you said, you don't know how you affect people with your messages, right?
Right.
You, but once you put them into the universe, it's hard to unsee, right? It's hard to unsee something. So like, you know, um, I hate to draw this to the point, but George Floyd, you know, that was literally um, a visual lynching, a global lynching, a public lynching for the world to see. Um, and you know, the majority of us have never seen someone die before. You know,
Yeah.
um, I can't say we haven't seen the dead because we all have been to a funeral or a wake. We lose family members repetitiously. That's part of the life cycle, right? But to see someone dying or being killed, not just dying, but
Right.
being murdered,
Right.
um, Though we didn't see blood all over the place, it's still something that can't be erased. You can't unsee that.
Yeah.
You know, I try to make my messages that vivid. Um, not that not that it give you nightmares, but that it stay in your memory. Um, so that we think, so that we think before we act. You know, take this recent shooting, for example. Um, how you shoot someone for ringing your bell, for knocking on the wrong door.
Yeah.
You know, ain't no way, ain't no way, because you have delivery drivers. Okay, you got delivery drivers that's gonna come and drop a package. You're not gonna know them, so you're gonna shoot the delivery driver too. You know, I think D.L. Hewley said it the best. You know, if if someone can come to your house on purpose or by mistake and die on your doorstep, then Jehovah Witness are in trouble. Uh, their lifestyle is threatened. You know what I'm saying? Because this is how they pass their message. They come
Right.
to a stranger's home.
Yeah. I mean, I think I have I have great faith that the age of Aquarius is going to bring great change, and that everything that has been happening and the reactions of people, and their voices rising is the precipice. You know, change change usually happens at a breaking point. It's very sad that a lot of the times it has to get to that, but change rarely happens without that tipping point. So, I feel like I feel like how much more can we take before the change actually starts to happen?
Right.
So, you know,
Well, it's changing. It's change happening um because we're bridging the gap.
mhm,
All right. We've taken the task into our own hands, and we took to the screen, and we took to the buildings, and we've taken to each other. So that's it. The only way change is going to come about is when we come together. Um,
yes,
everybody, I don't want to say everybody, but there's been a lot of talk of separation and tearing us apart, and you over there and you over there. Um, that just creates more competition. That
yeah,
creates more war, because at the end of the day, we have to be honest with ourselves. If this if the US goes into a fathom, okay, the people are going to turn on each other, because people ain't taking care of each other.
right,
And if you have a house full of food and there's no food in my house, guess what? I'm gonna knock on your door politely at first,
right,
but when you don't let me in, then I'm gonna force my way in, right? That's just the mindset of survival.
yeah,
That's just survival.
hmm,
We're not growing anything of our own. Everything is being supplied to us in these stores.
yeah,
And the moment they tell us there's a shortage, we go into the store and we buy all of it.
yeah,
But we don't realize that when you buy everything that you can afford,
hmm,
you take from everybody else in the community.
yeah,
Because the stores only house a certain amount, but there's so many people in that community.
exactly,
So, so
exactly,
yeah. So like we went through that with the tissue and the hand sanitizer. When
right,
people pulling out of the stores with a shopping cart full of tissue, like you ain't even got that much booty. You know what I'm saying? Like seriously, come on, what you trying to wipe your ass for the next 2 years?
Right.
There'll be tissue in the store by then.
Yeah.
We have to be mindful of if you taking it all and these people desperately need it. Now you've created tension. So you created an act of war, and that's how they play on it.
Yeah. You know what? I honestly, I have an awful lot to say about that. I really, really do. It would take up a couple shows. Um, so I am technically biting my tongue very hard because it's that is a. I'm still not going there. I won't stop.
I know
But I
it's
can say
horrible.
this much. I agree with you. I agree with you, and that is just the tip of the iceberg. Um, which I know you know, but I mean, there's so much value um, to a different type of way of being, you know, and when you open your heart to other people and the kindness, yeah, sometimes it can backfire on us, but the majority of times there's a blessing in there for us too.
Indeed.
So yeah, and I feel like, in all honesty, I have been blessed by um, the tight group that I have around me in the poetry community. They have given me a lot of support. They've given me a lot of joy, and their poetry and their talent absolutely entertains me and just gives me. I'm going to say the word joy again because it does. It lifts my spirit. I love seeing the community engage. I think that's where I get my biggest joy
Yes,
is
ma'am.
watching how kind everybody is to everyone else. Um, yeah, I think that there's some kind of very special bond between people in this community um, that write, that put their poetry out there. Um, yeah, it's phenomenal. So, with that, I'm going to ask you to share another piece with us. We'll chat a tiny bit more, and then I think we're gonna move on into some fun stuff.
Okay, I'm here for it.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna do one more reenactment, I guess. I haven't done this in a while neither. This is the reenactment of social injustice of George Stinney Jr. It was a lifetime ago. I remember it like the last day. Playing with my sister in the yard was the most we can do back then because wandering too far from home was as dangerous as lamb straying away from the youth. It was a lifetime ago. I remember it like the last day, the last time me and sister played, the first time the neighbors' daughters approached us. 14 years of age when they asked me, do I know where they can find some flowers? Although I told them I didn't know, that wouldn't stop their search. They said they knew we're somewhere, down by the train tracks. That's what they told us as they headed to their home. That night, we got a visit, an urgent knock at the door. Two young white girls had reportedly gone missing. I told Dad I had seen two girls earlier in the day where they said they were headed. My father, skipping supper after a long day's work, set out to help find those missing girls. It never crossed his mind that skipping a meal meant he may never get to break bread with his son again. The next morning, another visit. Two white police officers. Mom was visiting her sister while Dad was at work. to their serendipity, for it was me they wanted to talk to. They told me they found the missing girls right where I said they would be. I had no bearing of the weight of their words at the time. I asked if they were okay. One said they were dead. Both poked in the head with a railroad spike. You're in a lot of trouble, he told me. The racism in his eye stabbed at my life from the moment they arrived. Rushed to the ground, they handcuffed, took me to the jailhouse, charged me double homicide. I remember it like the last day, the last time 14 was considered a youthful age. 81 days later, in a trial by jury, the officers insisted I confess the crime to them. My parents, threatened by an angry mob seeking vengeance, weren't even allowed to be in the courtroom. After a 3-hour trial, I was found guilty. The all-white jury deliberated for a lengthy 10 minutes before sentencing me to execution by electric chair, scheduled for that very same day. When they couldn't strap me in the chair properly, they decided the Bible I was carrying would make for good leverage. My family had not seen me till my deceased body, charred from old smoke, was placed in open coffin. 70 years after, this lawful injustice that took away my life was cleared in exoneration. If only they could reverse my death like them charges. I remember it like the last time 14 years of age was innocent.
Oh man. And I'm watching the comments just roll as well because the people who are able to comment who are in the room are are just as blown away. And Miss Betty, who has joined us, is also saying that the piece was absolutely phenomenal. So, and I believe she's heard it before by her comment.
Love you, Mama Betty.
Um, wow, just wow. Jeez. Okay. You get me every time. I'm supposed to have all these words, and every time you just make me go, huh.
I'm
Oof.
sorry. It does it to me too. Like after it comes out, it's like the voice, my voice leaves. You know.
They're horrific stories. They're horrific, um, true tales of history that, I mean, it can't be forgotten, but in a lot of ways, it's been swept under the rug. It's been told um, in untrue ways, in their truth, and it's wrong. Injustice is injustice. We all have the same heartbeat. We all have, this under our skin. It's all the same, and there
Yeah.
is no reason to look at somebody for the color of their skin or the shape of their eyes or whatever you want to say that this is what separates us, because that's not what separates us. Nor does culture, nor does religion. None of that separates us. What separates us is your intention in how you treat people.
Right.
Me, right? if you
It's like,
have if you have bad intention for people, then that's what separates you from the collective. I, you know, but I mean, to me and how I live my life and my beliefs, I I am in utter disbelief of the things that have in the past, but even to present day, are let to be get away with. You know, I just, anyways.
It hurts because, like I said, I didn't have a pretty life. My life ain't been prettier. So I had a lot of police interaction in my life. Um, and it's always been, you know, it, it's always been a battle. Um, I mean, there was a time when we literally had fist fist fight with the police. Um, it was a lot going on, um, not just in my neighborhood. You know, it lied in the duties, a lot lied in the duties that it changed people.
Mm,
You know, don't allow you to live. When you got people that's duty is to protect you, right? It's protect and serve, right? Yeah, you have these influencers opposing their wills instead of protecting and serving. You know, I'm from the neighborhood where the cop come through swinging his stick, flipping it in his hand and stuff like, what are you practicing for? What do you want? What are you warming that up for? You
right.
know, there's nothing peaceful about you throwing a weapon, okay? Because it is a weapon. That ain't no walking stick. That's a weapon to beat somebody.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? It ain't even to restrain. Your handcuffs is less of a weapon than a nightstick.
right.
So when you coming through a neighborhood and you flipping your nightstick, that's threatening. You're already threatening as you come through. That's like spinning a gun on your finger.
Right.
You know, so yeah, I'll come from that type of environment um where authorities feel like they can just oppose their will on the people. But I come from a rebellious people as well. I come from fearless people. So um, yeah, you got to do a lot to make us run.
Well, it's just there's beauty in strength, and I think that if we look at ourselves and our journey as a person growing through the ages, we go through a lot. um, we go through this teenager years, we're misunderstood to ourselves, we're trying to find out who we are, we're trying to navigate relationships and what works, what doesn't work, and then we go through different stages of life, and we grow to a point where we find ourselves and we fall in love with ourselves and we give that love out. And I think that as a collective society over a gained amount of time, um, people go through pain and they have all these experiences that are not pleasant. And then, you have the grief that comes after that. And grief has many phases, and anger is one of them. And then they come to eventually that place of peace. So, that is the one thing that we are definitely looking forward to. But pain causes people to want to find that peace, but it also causes a beautiful strength. Yeah.
I'm grateful for my family. I've always played a role in my nieces and nephews' lives,
Mm.
um, especially when I was young. Um, I was the guy who may not be there, but I'm always going to show up at the birthday, bearing gifts. You know what I mean? Um, when I had my first son, um, he'll be 12 this year. So 12 years ago, when that happened, I changed again. Yeah, uh, I didn't think I can melt the way he melted my heart. Um, I was there in the hospital in the delivery room for both of my children being born. Um, but the first one really messed me up though.
Yeah.
It's like the second time, I guess I was ready for it, but the first one really messed me up. And when he came out, uh, I was right there. I didn't catch him, but I was right there. To bear witness everything. I was holding his mother's hand and stuff. And yeah, when he came out, tears just bust out my face. I was happy. I was ecstatic. I was proud, but I couldn't control my face. I probably was the ugliest face in the room, probably more so than his mother. Um, but the tears was spewing out my face. Yeah, so my first son humbled me again.
Yeah.
When you think about it and you know that you living for more than you,
Mm-hmm.
it does something to
Yeah, it does. It sure does. Yes. And it's incredible because I think for almost all of us, our parents try and tell us, like, you wait. I remember I always told my kids, so you wait until you have kids of your own because
you.
you don't understand a parent's love until you have kids of your own. You can't imagine. And so my one son has children of his own, and I'm like, see, I told you.
Right.
You cannot understand it.
Uh,
You can't explain it. You can't understand it. It's
yeah,
phenomenal.
it is. It is. The whole journey is like blows my mind. You know, it blows my mind.
Let's have some fun time. Let's do
I think
some
we
fun.
need some.
We have had such an incredible journey. So let's get into the game.
All
So,
right.
okay. So, you ready for this, Quentin? How's our
Yeah.
producer listening
Okay.
back there? I don't know. Oh, that means he's listening.
Oh, okay. Wow.
We didn't say anything funny yet, but he's got it all lined up
But
for
he's
us.
ready, so I love it. I love it.
Okay. So, we're going to play a game, and I call it Play Stupid Games.
Uh-oh.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. So this is what we are going to do. So no rules. We're just gonna have some fun. We're gonna ask a couple questions, get some fun answers, and then we're gonna see what you won. So let me see. Okay. I'm gonna ask you this one because I like this question. So you are now a superhero with a
Hey.
very right, with a very unlikely and not very useful superpower. What is it?
I guess I would have the power to make everything move in slow motion. I slow everything down.
Slow motion. That could be fun.
Yeah, slow everything down. You know what I'm saying? Not except me. Like I will be able to move at regular speed, but everything I just slow everything down a little bit. I maybe
Okay.
walk over and see my son about to knock something over, and I just go and move it out of his way for him.
That actually sounds like a pretty useful superpower.
Okay, I guess I could use that one, huh? Okay.
That's all right. That's all right. We got more stuff to worry about. Okay. So All right.
Sound effect
What
is a
is
fool.
what is the most irrational superstition that you have?
Um, I actually grew out of my superstition, so I don't really say I don't know about that. Oh, you know what? I don't like my foot. You can't sweep my foot. They said
Say it
you.
again. Say it
Yeah,
again.
yeah. You can't sweep my foot. You sweep. They say you sweep your somebody sweep your foot, and you going to jail. So what
Oh,
we used to
okay.
do is somebody sweep your foot, then you spit on the broom, which I think was really stupid. But I did it several times,
To make sure.
and I still went to jail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Not enough spit, not enough saliva in the spit there, hey?
I don't know. I don't know. Not enough faith in the superstition is really what it is.
There you go. There you
If this
go.
really want to work,
Okay. Let me see. I was looking for one, but here we go. So there's a math question.
oh, I
Are you
like math.
good at math?
I love math.
Okay, good. So here we go. If I throw a triangle out of the car and the car is going 20 kilometers, so let's just say miles per hour, and wind resistance is a thing that exists, how many cupcakes can Pedro buy with one human soul?
What? What?
Just a guess.
Three, I guess. It's a triangle.
It's a triangle. I'm pretty impressed because I feel like you were really listening there. So, um, for that one, I'm gonna reach into my little bag of prizes here, and from the Let's Talk shop, I've got a get out of jail card from Monopoly for you.
Oh, I need that.
The fine print says other pieces and game boards sold separately at the
Wow. You could at least give me a $500 bill.
We can't give everything away. Let me see. Okay, I really want to know the answer to this.
Okay.
What's something that doesn't really smell great, but you keep wanting to smell it anyways?
Oh. This might weird some people out, but sweat. I'm a very physical person, so I like to smell the sweat of my counterpart.
That doesn't, I bet you that's like, I don't know about that noise. I bet you that's like, if we were playing Family Feud, that would be on the board. All right. So again, I'm reaching into the prize bag here, and we have a slightly used Mother's Day card, dated 2012 for you. What is the worst thing that you think a person could put on their bio on a dating app?
On oh wow. Um, they're the worst thing.
What would repel you?
um, I don't know. Maybe a underlying illness,
Okay.
or definitely like, oh, you got what?
um. All right. You have won the B in bingo.
There's four more letters to go.
Okay, right. Um,
Is it a capital B?
it is.
Yes.
um, what song would make the best theme music for you?
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Um, don't judge me. Don't judge me, because you know I gotta come in the room and ask who naked up in here,
Right.
right? So to counter that, I would need that. There's some holes in this house. There's some holes in this house. There's some holes in this house. There's some holes in this house.
Okay, you want to double down for a bigger prize?
Yes, please, please.
Okay, good, good. Okay, there are 3 things you could buy at a grocery store to make the cashier give you weird looks. What are they?
Um, condoms. Um, adult Pampers. Uh, antifungal cream.
That was a very good answer.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it.
Okay,
Yes, I
so
love that. I love that. Bane was my dude, man. I
here we
love.
go. You want to know what you won?
Yes.
So you have won a needle in a haystack. Let's Talk is not responsible for the needle being lost or damaged in transport.
Okay. Why don't you just give me the straw? I'll
What
take
are
the
you?
haystack. Just give me the haystack.
Well, the needle comes with it. Just if it gets lost or damaged, it's not our
Look, I'm
fault.
gonna poke myself trying to spread that hay in the yard.
Well, I don't know how much hay we can ship, but that's Here we go. I got one more for you. Do you have okay. You are now banned from the local library.
Just got
What
my
is
lottery card.
what is the reason for it?
Want to know the truth?
Mm-hmm.
My baby boss. Mine, I'm the father of that baby boss. Boss.
And
I'm that baby's daddy.
probably smoking in the building.
That would be me.
Yeah, there's books in there. You ain't smoking around the books.
Right? You can't do that. They just don't let you.
You
And
know,
they don't
so
want you to talk either, but that's another story. All right. So we have a book here for you that we're going to ship, but Let's Talk says that you're responsible for the shipping and you're also responsible for the library overdue fees.
I
I
thought you
couldn't
were going
get
to tell
them
me
to
I was
cover that.
responsible for writing the book. Wow.
I couldn't get them to cover that. I tried as I might. But, it's only like since 1991. It should be
Wow. Like before I went to Job Corps, right? I think
Like,
back then the book still had that paper in it that you had to get it like
yeah.
punched. Now you had to get that card punched or
The
something,
card,
right?
right?
Yeah.
Hey,
Wow.
we've had lots of fun with you here. Getting to know you, having that deep dive, hearing your amazing poetry, having a little bit of fun with you with the jokes and stuff. Is there anything that you would like to leave us with?
A man must have a code. No doubt.
Well, I'm big on community, and I'm all about that. So, like, I think we had um, enough things to tear us apart, enough ways to find um, ways to compete and battle with one another. I really want us to focus on unifying. How how do we build our community stronger? Um, not just our poetry community, not just our neighboring what's up? It's not just the people who are enabling in us, within around our homes, but I mean everything that you can touch, because we have opened up the world to where we're really across country talking to each other. All right, so we can create a cross country change because we're talking, we're communicating, we're opening windows um wider than any politician. All right, so we can bring about collective change in behavior and the way we support one another as well. So that's the biggest thing that I would like to see is uh, us continue to sharpen each other, make each other stronger, and pull the genius out of each other, but not in a competitive mind frame, with the togetherness we were born to have.
And we give it
Yes.
back to you, the people.
You had a little audio going there. I was
I
trying to
love
figure
it. I love it. I love it.
You know, I just want to say that I'm going to suggest that we've known each other probably around a year and a half. But I'm always drawn to you because I feel like we have some of the same values. I know that we host shows with the same mentality. Your poetry leaves me speechless, which is pretty hard to do for anybody. And I just, there's a few people in our community who give me warm fuzzies when I spend, collectively time with them, and you and a lot of other members of the Ain't Right tribe, they qualify. So it was absolute pleasure. I'm gonna whip another prize out of the Let's Talk, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I probably get my hand smacked for this, but we'll have to get your address and everything after so I can send it to you, because we have an Amazon gift card worth 10 cents. So thank you.
I love
You
you
done
so
fucked up, you know
much.
that, don't
Let
you?
me tell you, you are amazing.
No,
I
I
see
mean,
what I'm saying.
I thought
No, so, you know what I'm saying? That you done fucked up now, you know that, don't you?
we sometimes we just go break the bank like that. So
Look, I
um,
truly love you from the moment that you introduced yourself to me. From the moment that you came into this community, um, you have been nothing but blessing. You have been nothing but um, raise a son. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you have been doing to bridge these gaps with platforms, with artists, with culture, it's been um, powerful, extremely powerful, and necessary. So I commend you on the journey that you have been on, the quest that you're on. It's amazing.
thank you so much. I appreciate that and I value that very much. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Serious Shenanigans. Our guest tonight is Mr. Witz. He has 8 books out. He has a number of programs. He has clothing lines. He has in North Carolina. He has events. Pardon me. He has open mic shows on Instagram. I highly recommend that you find out more about this gentleman. When we close this show, we're going to ask, once we close up Mr. Witz, we're going to ask you to stay in the room after the live ends. But once this live is posted, we're going to put his handle for IG so that you can find him over there. Highly recommended. He just does so much outside of IG as well. This is definitely somebody who is going to be pivotal in your entertainment, in your advocacy, in your life changing, and you need to know him. So hang tough there for a second, Mr. Wetz. We're going to close the show. Stay around for us. We're going to have a back screen chat. Everybody, thank you once again. I would like to thank our producer, Quentin Ford, for doing an excellent job for us behind the scenes, for making this all work for us. This is the Let's Talk station. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel, but don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you can be notified of this show going on every Tuesday. But there's a multitude of shows that happen all during the week. So make sure. Thank you so much. Goodbye, everybody. Hey, Quentin, wake up.
From here on, nothing goes down unless I'm involved. No blackjack, no dope deals, no nothing. A nickel bag gets sold in the park. I want in. You guys got fun while everybody's on the street.
He's having fun, President.